Welcome back. Our last poem, as you can see there on the screen, is Cheetah by Charles Eglinton. This poem has special significance to me. I am a proud Free Stater, and therefore I am a Cheetah supporter. And as you all know, on the Saturday afternoons, I have to sit there in front of the TV, thundering out support and advice for my rugby team while I drink lots of manly beer. Well, not really. People, this poem is simple but really impressive. I have seen footage of cheetahs hunting. I've seen lots of footage. Lots of footage exists nowadays. And to me, this poem describes it so well. Let's read through it together. Indolent and kitten-eyed, this is the bushveld's innocent, the stealthy leopard parodied, with grinning, gangling pup content. Slouching through the tawny grass, or loose-limbed lolling in the shade, purring for the sun to pass and build a twilight barricade. Around the vast arena where, in scattered herds, his grazing prey do not suspect in what wild fear they'll join with him in fatal play. Till hunger draws slack sinews tight and vibrant as a hunter's bow, then like a flack of mottled light, he slides across the still plateau. A tremor rakes the herds. They scent the pungent breeze of his advance. Heads rear and jerk in vigilant compliance with the game of chance, in which of thousands only one is centered in the cheetah's eye. They wheel and then stampede, for none knows which it is that has to die. His stealth and swiftness fling a noose, as his loping strides begin to blur with speed, he ropes the loose buck on the red horizon in death. Wow! Wish I could write like that. So vivid. Such a brilliant description. Notice, incidentally, the increase in the speed towards the end. Okay, now let's take a look at some details. Here we've got, of course, who was Charles Beaumont Eglinton? And the answer was he was a South African poet, an editor, a journalist, a translator and broadcaster who was prominent in this country in the 50s, 60s and 70s. If you had spoken of Charles Eglinton, especially in the 1960s, everybody would have known whom it was, about whom you were talking, I should say. Because as a broadcaster, obviously, that made him famous. Now, the poem was probably written in the 1950s after the poet witnessed a cheetah hunting, because that description is just so accurate. That is how it happens. All right. Let's take a look at our theme. Nature is both beautiful and cruel. There's that famous Zulu motto, something has to die when the lion feeds. Nature is full of predators. It's real. I always have to, I've got a wife who's so concerned about nature and these things all the time. And often I have to, well, I recommend to her that she leaves nature alone. If a cat catches a bird, that's simply nature. The form, of course, 7 stanzas of 4 lines each, with increasing enjambment as the poem progresses. The enjambment in this case is to cause the pace to get faster and faster and faster. There you have your diction. The words are not very complicated, but you get this impression of these wide open spaces thanks to the wording that is used. The tone is certainly admiring. This paints the cheetah in a very positive light. It's something startling to watch, but oh so beautiful when you see it. rhyme, very formally rhymed this. One of the reasons why I enjoy the poem so much. I do appreciate poems very much which have rhyme and meter and which are correctly compiled. Okay, every second line rhymes within each stanza. The rhythm, notice that the poem begins slowly and then accelerates up to the end. This mirrors the way in which a cheetah hunts. And of course, you've got your imagery, yes, frequent use of metaphor and personification, which we can look at in a little bit more detail now, as we go back to the poem and we look at it in some detail. Indolent. Indolent, that word of course means lazy, unwilling to work. And kitten-eyed, oh, but kitten's eyes are innocent. You're looking at this cheetah and you're thinking, oh, that's not an aggressive animal, until you get up close to a cheetah, as I did in the Mountain Zebra National Park a few months back. This is the bushveld's innocent. Oh, really? Apparently, yes. The stealthy leopard. Parodied. What is a parody? A parody is an exaggerated image of something to make it seem almost funny. And this is saying that the cheetah is a parody of the leopard. It's got similar spots. We all know that. But it's got a much smaller head. The leopard has a bigger head. The cheetah has longer legs. It has a much longer, heavier tail. And if you watch cheetahs hunting, the reason they can turn corners absolutely instantly is as they are turning that way, you'll see that their tail acts as a counterbalance to keep them balanced when they are turning at very high speeds. That is why they can intercept springbok even though the bok are jumping around all over the place. The cheetah is the most nimble and fastest of the land-based predators. With grinning gangling. Gangly means long-legged, pup content, as happy as a puppy. Slouching. Slouching, once again, is walking bent over through the tawny grass, typically African grass. As I was driving here today, looking around at the African veld, it's tawny. It's a sort of a brownish grey. It's got its own kind of beauty, which I shall miss if I ever go overseas. I really love it. Or loose-limbed, lolling in the shade, purring for the sun to pass. Purring is a show of happiness, contentment, and build a twilight barricade. Twilight, as the darkness falls, so it is possible for the cheetah to hunt without easy detection around the vast arena where in scattered herds he's grazing prey. Do not suspect in what wild fear they'll join with him in fatal play. It's not actually play at all. This is deadly serious. Something is about to die. Fatal. It's fatal. Till hunger draws slack sinews tight. What an image. The hunger causes the cheetah to tense up, ready to hunt. And vibrant, vibrating as a hunter's bow, energetic, vibrant, energetic as a hunter's bow. Then, like a fleck of mottled light, he slides across the still plateau. He's still taking it easy until he marks out his target. A tremor rakes the herds. Rake as in picking up leaves. It runs through the herds as a ripple. They scent the pungent breeze of his advance. Heads rear and jerk in vigilant compliance with the game of chance. Everybody's now looking around. The head's going up. Where? We can smell the predator. In which of thousands only one is centered in the cheetah's eye. Right, he's picked his target. They wheel and then stampede, for none knows which it is that has to die. And finally, this summary. His stealth and swiftness fling a noose, a hangman's noose, And as his loping strides begin to blur with speed, he ropes the loose buck on the red horizon in. A double entendre there. Red, the sun is setting. It has caused the horizon to go red, but red is the color of blood. We stop at that point. People, thank you very much for watching with us today. That was, of course, the poems being studied in grade 12 by the English First Additional Language students. I am Timothy of Tapelong, and I hope that you're going to stay close to your IBP broadcast equipment, because there are many, many brilliant lessons still to come. Don't forget that when you are studying for paper 2, you can do just that. You can study. It is one of the easiest papers in which to increase your marks with some self-discipline and going through your notes as much as you can. I really hope that you will do that in both September and in the final exams in November. Goodbye, everybody.